Andrea Mitchell of MSNBC interviewed Bernie Sanders, and this has to be up there with the worst interviews of all time. So let's watch and look at the questions she asks and take note of what her focus is here.
The margin of error, you're just about tied with Hillary Clinton. To what do you attribute this narrowing of the gap? Is this related to the email controversy and the trust factor?
I don't think so, Andrea. And this is not just Iowa. This is New Hampshire. This is all across the country. And I think what's going on is that people understand that there's something fundamentally wrong in this country when ordinary people are working longer hours for low wages, and almost all of the new income and new wealth being generated is going to the top 1%, where people cannot afford today to send their kids to college, where they're seeing their jobs and their factories disappear, going to China and other low-wage countries, where they're seeing a political campaign finance system dominated by billionaires who are buying elections. That is not what the American people believe that democracy is supposed to be about, where we are not addressing the global crisis of climate change, which the Pope and other people tell us is one of the great international issues that we've got to address. So there's a lot that's going on, and I think the American people want a government that represents all of us and not just Wall Street and a handful of very wealthy people.
Now, you have resisted attacking Hillary Clinton. Are you braced for the onslaught that could come your way from her?
Yes, we are. Well, I don't know where it's going to come from. But, Andrew, when you take on the entire establishment, you take on Wall Street, when you take on the pharmaceutical industry, and by the way, we are going to be introducing legislation when I get back to Congress, which ends this outrage of the drug companies raising prices at a level that people with cancer cannot afford them while they're making huge profits. This is an issue that I know will be attacked by the drug companies. We're going to be attacked by corporate America. When you take on the establishment, you anticipate those attacks. We're waiting for them. We know they'll happen.
While you haven't criticized Hillary Clinton because of the email controversy, would you, as president, permit a cabinet secretary, someone in the national security cabinet, to use a private email system?
I think that's an issue that we've got to take a hard look at it. And I think what's going on now is I think Secretary Clinton now realizes it's not a good practice. Well,
do you think that she jeopardized national security?
Well, there is a process that is going on now. We will learn more about it. But this campaign that I am running, let me reiterate, is not against Hillary Clinton or anybody else. It is for an American people who are sick and tired of seeing the middle class disappear and huge numbers of people living in poverty. And as a candidate, what I am going to do, Andrea, is focus on the real issues facing the American people. Why we are the only major country on earth not providing family and medical leave, the only major country not guaranteeing health care to all people, the need to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour over the next several years.
In a Quinnipiac poll last week, Senator, the first word that came to mind in a word cloud, the first word that came to mind to describe Hillary Clinton from voters was liar. What is the first word that comes to mind when you think of Hillary Clinton?
I have known Hillary Clinton for 25 years, and I know her to be a very hardworking, intelligent person, somebody I work with in the Senate. So I am sorry. I am not going to get into the media game, Andrea, of attacking, making personal attacks against Hillary Clinton. I'm not going to do that.
That was embarrassing. And MSNBC wonders, why is it we can't do well in the ratings? Could it be because we're establishment pricks up the ass of the most powerful people in the country and the biggest politicians? It couldn't be that, right? Every question came back to Hillary Clinton. In fact, I wrote it down. The first one was, is Hillary struggling because of the email scandal? Now, Bernie, being Bernie, he, has a strong bullshit detector, and he's bobbing and weaving and dodging all the nonsense, and he's trying to stick to the issues. So he responds to that with, no, I'm doing better now because I'm focusing on income inequality and student loans and jobs and stuff like that. Then the second question is, you're not attacking Hillary. Do you think she's going to attack you soon? And then he answers that with, He goes into a tangent about how pharmaceuticals are too expensive and healthcare is too expensive, and he would address that problem. Again, classic Bernie, sticking to the issues no matter what. And then Andrea Mitchell comes back with, but what about Hillary's emails? 3 questions, 3 references to Hillary. And then after that, so Bernie says, I care about the issues. Jesus, ask me a question about the issue. And she goes, well, when people were asked about Hillary Clinton, the first word that came to their mind wasn't a good word. What's the first word that comes to your mind when you think about Hillary Clinton? And Bernie's like, okay, stop. I'm not going to engage in this. I'm not going to attack Hillary Clinton. Literally every question you asked was about Hillary Clinton. Can we focus on the things that matter here? Remember, the whole job of a journalist or a reporter or somebody who has a daytime show on MSNBC, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to do nothing but this he said, she said nonsense conversation? Or are they supposed to get into specifics? Hey, let's talk about economic data. Let's talk about income inequality. Let's talk about foreign policy and, you know, how much of our tax money is going towards unnecessary wars. Let's talk about CIA torture. Let's talk about all these different ideas and issues and things that really matter and affect people. Hey, let's talk about the minimum wage and the fact that right now it's way less than a living wage, and that when you adjust for inflation in 1968, the minimum wage was higher than it is right now. Why are you not talking about any of those things? Any of those things? Everything is, you know what it is? The horse race aspect of politics, because they can't get enough of that. They view politics and they cover politics as if it's some kind of sporting event, as if it's like the fucking Kentucky Derby or some shit. Like whoever's leading, oh my God, that horse is the front runner. Let's talk about that horse, which is the front runner, not the specifics, not the policy issues, not the substance, but just the horse, the personality traits of the horse. How fast is the horse running? What did they eat? Are they on the good juice? All that nonsense. And they do that. They compare, like if you look at how they talk about Trump. It's a cult of personality the way they talk about Trump. It's a cult of personality the way they talk about Hillary. All they do is cover nonsense things from like an entertainment perspective, and they never get into details to the point where when they have a guy who cares about substance in front of them, Andrea Mitchell can't even detach herself for a second to ask a real question. Everything is Hillary struggling because of emails? Why are you not attacking Hillary? Do you think she's going to attack you? But what about Hillary's emails again? Look at these words that people use to describe Hillary. Hillary, 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 Hillary. And at the end of it all, they go, I wonder why Hillary is leading the polls by so much. Perhaps because you couldn't shut the fuck up about her. How about that? The same thing with Donald Trump on the Republican side. Fox News, all the media outlets covered Donald Trump nonstop. And then 3 weeks later, a poll will come out, and all the media people go, I can't believe Donald Trump is fucking leading. You did nothing but talk about Donald Trump, you asshole! If people don't know any of the other candidates, they're not all political junkies. They got jobs, they got kids, they got to take care of shit. If all they're fucking faced with is Trump all the time, what are they going to do? Are they going to find a way to break out of that and go read John Kasich's policy platform? Of course they're not going to do that. Your job is to present that. Your job is to talk about John Kasich's policy platform, along with Rand Paul, along with the rest of these guys. But since Trump is the big personality, we have a cult of celebrity in America and a sensationalism bias in the media. So they all just go, Trump, 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 Trump. Oh my God, let's talk about Trump nonstop. Let's talk about Hillary nonstop. And then you have the idiots who say, well, it looks inevitable that these guys are gonna win and they're gonna get through the primary. Bernie Sanders put on a clinic there. All the other candidates should take notes, because what he's doing is, no matter what he's asked, he'll like briefly answer it, but if it's silly, he'll answer it and then brush it aside, and then he goes right back to talking about the things that the American people care about. You want to know why he's surging in the polls, despite the fact that he's not getting nearly enough coverage? You just saw why right there. He actually gives a shit about the people, and he gives a shit about the issues.